Again, we're going to continue our journey into the book of Orchot Tzadikim, the way of Tzadikim. Okay, and we're going to skip around and learn the gate of love. Okay, what is love all about? Okay, we're commanded to love God with all our hearts, all our possessions, all our soul. But really, we got to break it down and see what, how to actually do it. Okay, so love includes more acts than any other traits. And when one employs his love for good, it is the highest of all the traits. As it is written, and you should love Hashem your God. And there is no form of divine service higher than that of serving God out of love. When one employs his love for evil, there is no trait among all others that can compare to it in evil. So meaning, like, if you employ your love for God, okay, that's the best thing you can do. And if you employ your love for evil, it's the worst thing you can do. Okay, they just had a whole ceremony for Kobe Bryant. Anybody watched it, and Michael Jordan spoke, and he said that he had such a love for the game. That's all he thought about. He would text him at 2:30 in the morning and ask him, about things that related to basketball. Who does that craziness thing? You know what I mean? Even Michael Jordan said it was crazy because the guy was obsessed with it. When you love something, you're obsessed with it. So when you love God, you're obsessed with God. If you love this world, then you're obsessed with this world. So you got to channel the love to the right way. When you channel it the right way, then you can get good things. But if you channel it differently, it's not good. Again, all our classes are built on the system that the world was created for, right? Man is given a body and the evil inclination, and a soul and a good inclination. And the whole purpose is to go through the test of the world and to go beat the evil inclination, go to the next world and get rewarded for, what they accomplish in this world. Okay. And now here, how love tarnishes one's deeds when it gets the upper hand over wisdom. Okay, so some people, they talk about their feelings. Oh, I have feelings, God gave me feelings, and all that stuff. Feelings are good, they're fine. But your wisdom has to be above your feelings. Okay, you have to use your wisdom and use the feelings in a good manner. Because if not, they're going to drive you away from God and into bad things. Okay, there are varieties of love, one different from the other. The love of a father for his children, his great love for them may cause him not to reprove them and lead them on the right path, right? There's a mitzvah to teach your kids the right way, right? But you may love them so much, you say, I can't tell him. No, I don't want to bother him, So the parents let the kid do what they want. So the kids run the household, right? It's like the inmates of the jail, they run the asylum. They run the place because the father loves his kids too much, or the mother loves the kid too much to discipline them, to tell them, no, you're not allowed to do this. You can't go out on Shabbat. Shabbat's sacred, right? You can't eat this, it's not kosher, right? You got to discipline them the right way, but because you love them so much, you let them get away with things, okay? So you have to be careful. It may cause him to leave them to the evil promptings of their hearts, from which great ruin will result, okay? Because the kid doesn't follow, eventually the kid's going to get bad because the father loved him so much. Okay, so that's one type of bad love. Okay, we need to know this because sometimes we're interacting with our family members and we don't want to to upset them because we love them, but it's the wrong kind of love. Okay. 2, the love of money. One's great desire for money may cause him to be dishonest in business and to lust, exploit, and steal in order to amass wealth. This great desire for wealth will cause him to close his hand to charity and to be miserly. So people love money too much. Their whole focus will be on business. But in business, they'll cheat, lie, steal, whatever they have to do, get a monopoly, whatever it is, destroy the competition. There's a prohibition in Torah, like let's say somebody has a business here, you can't open a business right along next to them selling the same things, right? You'll do things if you have a love for money that you won't see, God, you won't see other people. You go crazy, yeah, you do the craziness, the worst. And if you have a love for money, you won't be able to do charity, right? Which you have a mitzvah to do tzedakah. Check out our video on tzedakah, on charity, on how to do that properly, right? So, one person's love of money taken the wrong way is going to be bad. Okay, so we have love for children and love for money. The next thing is love of women. Okay, if a man has this, if one's wife is wicked and proud, she will turn all of the mitzvahs from his heart, and he will be drawn after her.
I didn't get this part.
Okay, so some people, like, let's say they want to serve God, but his wife says, no, come on, we don't need that. Let's have fun. Let's go on vacation. Let's do this. Let's do that. Yeah, let's. And he says, let's go to synagogue. He says, no, come on. I want to sit at home. I want to go party. I want to do this. So she'll drive, because he loves her so much. He doesn't want to ruin the relationship with her. He'll follow her instead of following God, instead of following the Torah. You see, some people have this mistaken notion. They become Baal Tshuva. They become like, returnees to God and Judaism, and they say, no, whatever the wife says, you got to honor your wife, you got to do this. No, there's levels. There's certain things you got to do the right way. It doesn't matter if your spouse, says the opposite. You got to leave the spouse. Your commitment is to God first.
But the Rabbanim said not to leave her, as long as she go to the mikveh.
It depends which Rabbanim. If you talk to, right? We're learning from the Chot Tzadikim. We're learning from a book that teaches us how to be righteous, how to be a tzaddik, right? It doesn't teach us how to be religious. It says kedoshim to you, right? You should be holy. It doesn't say datim to you. You should be religious. Okay? You need to know how to be holy. So if someone is pushing you away from God, you got to leave that. That's not good. Okay? Obviously, you could try to influence them and say, hey, come follow me. This is the right path and this is good.
What if they're being stubborn?
If they want to push you away from God, no, you got to leave them. It's even in the Torah, it says, like, if someone says, let's go serve another God, so forget this God. I found this God in this church, so much more better. You go serve this, you bow down 3 times, you say a few things, you get $1 million. You're commanded to kill that person. Even if it's your son, even if it's your father, even if it's your mother, even if it's your spouse, it doesn't matter who it is, because that person drove you away from goodness, from life, from the reward that God wants to give you, right? So this person's evil. You should try to bring them to you, but if they're pushing you away, there is no shalom bayit.
No.
I'm gonna violate the Torah in order to make peace with this person? That's what he's saying. No, his great love will not permit him to defy her. He will heed her counsel, and she will lead him to evil acts. His great love for women will also cause him to gaze at them constantly, to speak lewdly, and to come to fornication. Right? So a person who loves women so much is going to look at them. He's going to look at them, improperly. He's going to have thoughts and and try to find the most beautiful, and then he's going to speak, not kosher things to them. Okay? And also he's going to come to sleep with them eventually. Okay? So that because he loves women so much, okay, his love of women is more than his love for God. Okay?
Hashem made him like that. Oh.
Sure, he gave everybody an evil inclination. Some person it's for money, like we said. Some people it's for his family. Some people it's for women. Okay? Everybody has some kind of lust for something. Another person's for food, right? Everybody has some kind of lust. Someone is for honor. Everybody has something that pushes them away from God. That's your body, right? But you're also given a soul. The soul is supposed to push you towards God. And you just got to choose the right path. But if you don't, your love, improper love, is not good. Even though love in general is a good thing. But used improperly is a bad thing. Okay? The next thing is love of close relatives. Father and mother, brothers and sisters. Okay? One's other relatives and his friends and his companions. Because of his love, he will aid them in their quarrels and not stop to see whether they may have wronged their rivals. Okay? Let's say your family, your father is arguing with some other person. Your love for him is like, no, my father's right. It doesn't matter what they were talking about. Your father may have cheated him. Your father may have, stabbed him, hurt him, punched him, anything. Because your love for your relative, your father, You won't see the truth.
Yeah.
You'll say, no, my father's right. That's it. I don't care about nothing. Close your eyes. All right? And that improper love will cause you to do bad things. Then you'll start speaking about them. You'll start hating the other person, maybe taking revenge. It'll lead you down the wrong way, down the wrong path, because your love was improper. It was misplaced. He will also assist them, defend them, cover up for them. And even if they have been guilty of great offenses, he will take their side. He will also heed their counsel and not depart from it, though it may be good. It may not be good. Okay? So if they say to you, don't keep Shabbat, you don't need to. God will forgive you. He knows your heart. He knows you're a good person. Right? Because you love them. You want to be around your family. It's going to be hard. Okay? It's going to be hard to leave that and to go through that path. And people think it's good. No, what? I'm supposed to honor my parents. Right? It says in the Torah, you have to honor your parents, right? That's incorrect. Okay? Because anything that pushes you away from God is no good. That's the general principle. And even if it's your parents. Because who told you to honor them? God told you to honor them. So if they're telling you, hey, knock that guy out. So then what grounds do I have to honor you? You know, humanity grounds. Humanity grounds, I don't have any humanity grounds. Humanity is, if you're good to me, I'm good to you. If you're bad to me, I'm bad to you. Right? He will likewise desire to elevate them to positions which are not appropriate for them, such as governors, supervisors, taskmasters. And though they may be wicked, this will not deter him. For love will blind his eyes and deafen his ears, and this will cause damage, for they will incline the world to their vanities. Okay? So it's not just they're going to lead him bad, they're going to lead other people. Other people are going to see, hey, look, this is the way to be. Okay? So the improper love for one's relatives will knock it out. Okay? So far we have love for person's children, love for money, love for women, and love for relatives, right? Close relatives. The fifth love is for a long life, right? Who doesn't want a long life? Everybody wants a long life, right? So his ordinate love of life will not permit him to withstand trials, right? Everybody's going to go through trials in this world. Until you leave this world, God is testing you. Some he's testing you harder, some testing you easier. Everybody's going through a test. Whether they think they are or they're not. If life is all rosy, you're still being tested. Right? Let's say a person's rich and he's healthy and everything like that. He's being tested. Is he going to be arrogant? Okay? Is he going to help people who are poor? He's going to raise them up? He's being tested every single second. He's going to be angry. He's going to be patient. Everybody's being tested all the time. So because a person loves this world, it's going to be hard for him to sacrifice, to make sacrifices. Okay? One must be ready to sacrifice even the love of their life, right? Because Avram, you know the story of Avram Avinu, right? So Avram Avinu was, the first person to, let's say, discover God without being told who he was. So when he was telling everybody that there's one ruler over the world, there was a guy named Nimrod. Okay, and at that time, Nimrod and everybody around it, they worshipped fire. So to make a long story short, Avram said, no, there's one God, he controls everything, he controls the fire. They said, okay, we'll see who controls who. And they said, we're going to throw you into the fire. If you don't bow down to the fire, we're going to throw you into the fire. So what did he do? He said, okay, throw me into the fire, I don't care. Okay, now his brother was standing over there too. So they asked his brother, who do you believe in? Do you believe in God or do you believe in the fire? He says, no, I believe in God too. Avram, they threw in the fire. Avram was rescued. He didn't die. The fires didn't touch him. Okay, they couldn't burn him. His brother was thrown in and he died. Okay? So a person has to be ready to give his life. Okay, Avram didn't know he was going to be saved. He just said, I believe in God, and that's it. So he's ready to give his life. Okay? And the fires were really burning. They weren't fake fires. It wasn't a smoke show, because Avram's brother was thrown in and died.
Why did he die?
Okay? It says, it's brought down in the books, that he didn't really believe. He just, he was going with the flow. Okay, he was going to flow. Oh, Avram said, what he's saying sounds logical. We have a mitzvah to know and to bring into our hearts. You should know today and bring it into your heart. Knowledge is one thing, it's nice, but you have to start living with it. You have to bring it into your heart and start acting like it. Okay? It's not, and knowledge is cute. It's very nice. Anybody could, even the rabbi could like talk and say all the nice and great things, but you have to be tested. Put it into action. Okay. The next love is love of honor. If one loves honor, his deeds will not be for the sake of heaven.
Yeah.
For in all his mitzvahs, whether giving charity or studying Torah or other mitzvot, his motivation and intent will be to receive praise and honor and the crown of greatness, right? So some people, they don't do it because, God said to do it. They do it because, everybody's going to say, oh, wow, look at you. You're a very good person. And he's going to get praise. He gives charity, he gets a plaque, he gets, an award dinner, right? He gets praise at the dinner, all sorts of things like that. So people aren't really doing it because God said to do it, right? If you do the mitzvah and nobody knows about it, and you don't care if they know about it, that's really you're doing it because God said so. But if you're doing it because there's people watching, sometimes when you're praying with like extra movements, okay, just to show people that you're like a righteous person because you like the praise. Everybody likes praise a little bit. Even little kids, they like to know that, the parents, would say, oh, you did a good job. Everybody likes it. But if you're doing the commandments for this, it's bad.
Yeah, but it could affect other people if you do.
Yes, it could affect other people. True. Question is, God knows your heart. Does God know your heart or he doesn't know your heart? He knows your heart, right? Because if you remember who God is the Ein Sof. God is everywhere. He has no borders. If he has no borders, he knows what's in your heart, right? If he knows what's in your heart, then, right? He knows what you're doing it for. Okay, you can say you're doing it. I'm doing it for so other people see, and so I'm giving charity so other people will emulate me. You can say all that, but God knows your heart. You can't fake him out. You can fake us out. You can fake people out. Because it says, people see to the flesh and God sees to the heart. Okay? Adam יראה לעיניים והקדוש ברוך הוא יראה ללבב. Right? God sees the person's heart, but we just see through our physical eyes. We don't know what's really going on. So a person may like the praise that he gets from other people because of what they see. And this is a great detriment to divine service. It's not good. Even if one possesses Torah and good deeds, honor removes him from the world. Okay? It gets him out of this world because he's not in the moment. He's thinking about how the moment looks. Okay? How much meaner are the actions of those who lack Torah and good deeds and nonetheless pursue honor. Okay, so this guy, this guy has Torah, he's good deeds, he's a real tzaddik, he's a real righteous person. Imagine a person doesn't have those things. So what's he, wanting honor for? Because he made a lot of money, right? Because, some people just demand honor, because they have, even if they have nothing, right? So he's saying, like, imagine how much a person doesn't have anything and still wants honor. So you see the improper love for certain things will push you in the wrong directions. Okay? There's a thing called like Taoism. Taoism is like, it's just to accept whatever comes. Right? Not to lust and try to force the issue. To pull the rubber band till it snaps back. Okay? Like, some people try to force an issue, try to force what they want. And what that's causing is like they're not happy with what is. They're not accepting of what is, and that drives them crazy. Right? The person who lives a simplistic life is much easier on the soul than someone who tries to get more and more and more and more, because their soul's never at rest. They may think it's good because they got things, they got materialism, or they got whatever accomplishment they wanted to, but there's no rest.
Never satisfied.
They're never satisfied, right?
Yeah.
It kills a person inside, slowly, a little bit,
Then he suffer.
a little bit each
Bad,
day.
and
Yeah,
it's bad.
exactly.
Honor and respect is not the same, right?
Right. Respect is, listen, we should have a healthy respect of our rabbis, of our parents, right? Like, not to dishonor them, right? But there's a difference between praise and, like bowing down almost to worship, like award shows in Hollywood, What do you need an award show? Like, the box office, the ticket sales wasn't enough, like the money you made making it wasn't enough. No, you need to have an award show because that's going to push people to do more in order to get that reward. Right? It motivates. Honor is a big motivator for some people. 7 is, this is a big problem. The love of pleasure and of indulgence, as in eating, in drinking, and in other pleasures, such as illicit intercourse and excursions. You understand this?
Sure.
So people want to eat, they want to sleep with other people, they want to enjoy the pleasures of this world. Okay? Right? This love is worse than all the others. There is no need to elaborate here. Okay? For one who loves wine and gets drunk and always eats exotic foods and frequents banquets will forget his creator. And it is written, and when you will eat and be sated, take heed lest you forget Hashem, lest you forget God. Right? V'chata v'savata, no v'rachta. And you left God. V'yishman yishurun v'yivat. Right? You will become fat and kick. Right? Ishamaru lechem pen yifte levavchem. Right? Right? So be careful so your heart doesn't start flying around.
You can
What?
love eating and still following. I mean, all these rabbis, they love eating.
So the question is, how much will you be
Rabbi is
drawn
a
after
person
it?
too,
Okay?
He's not bad.
Okay, guy.
No, I know, but they're the most, obviously, they're the most whole.
No, listen, where everybody has sensory perceptions. Like you have sensories in your tongue. You're going to taste good food. It's going to taste good. You can't burn the senses in your tongue in order not to taste it.
Some like
But not
raw
So
meat,
you're
some
going to
people-
taste it. The question is, how much will you be drawn after it? Right? What are you going to talk about all day? How good the sushi was?
Yeah.
Okay, the sushi was good.
Yeah, the sushi
How
was
much
good.
am I going to talk about the sushi?
Big deal.
How much am I going to worry that
Some
the
people
sushi
are
is good?
involved about the food.
Exactly.
I know.
They
some,
revolve.
it's
There's
crazy.
certain cultures that revolve about the food. What are we eating tonight?
Yeah,
Right?
It's all about food.
We grew up. It was about the Pesach meal. It wasn't about the Haggadah. It wasn't about the story of Pesach. It was about what kind of food we're eating. Oh, you cooked this. You didn't cook that. Why didn't you do this? And the women are worse. They slave over it. They spend days cooking, days shopping, days for what? The whole
But it's
mitzvah.
the same, it's
People
what-
should know this. The whole mitzvah of Pesach is to tell over the story, eat a few pieces of matzah, and drink a few cups of wine.
I'm not cooking.
That's exactly. That's the whole purpose. That's the whole purpose.
Ridiculous.
Okay, so fine. Fine. If you got the basics down, fine. You want to add meat, that's fine. No
We should
problem.
eat meat.
But I promise you, I promise you,
I'd rather have a soup.
I promise you, you drink the 4 cups. You
Yeah, you
eat
cannot even
the
eat the 4
amount of matzah you're supposed to eat. And the amount of lettuce you're supposed to eat. And the amount of charoset you're supposed to eat.
It's enough.
And all that stuff, I guarantee you're not going to be that hungry for a big meal afterwards. And you got to remember that afterwards,
You're right.
after you finish your meal, you have to eat another piece of matzah as the afikoman.
Yeah.
Okay? After you're full already. So really, what are you doing to yourself?
We don't even
Yeah,
finish.
but when you do
Exactly.
that,
Drink the
you
wine.
explain everything.
Yeah.
And you go in every part, my husband explain, it's long, and people become hungry, and after they eat in the afikoman, they want to be hungry because it's a bad of Haggadah, like not just read it, explain it, and go to...
No problem. I promise you eat the correct amount. Some people don't eat the correct amount. Eat a piece. Right? You eat the correct amount of matzah,
right.
and the correct amount, you're full. You barely
you
have
don't
enough
throw
for
up.
like
You
a
don't
little
even
piece of
eat.
meat, or maybe a little piece of fish. You don't have enough that much room. Okay? Unless you're crazy about food and you stuff yourself. Okay? And that's the problem. Some people are crazy about food and they'll stuff themselves. And they'll do it in the name of the holiday, in the name of religion. Oh, we gotta eat Shabbat. You don't get fat on Shabbat. You heard this. Everybody's heard this. You don't get fat on Shabbat. Really, what scale are you going on Shabbat that I'm not going on? Okay, I diet
There's
the
no
whole week.
numbers.
The whole week I diet,
And
and
then you watch
Shabbat.
boom, that's it. Forget it.
It's an extra 4
my
pounds,
God,
3-4
God,
pounds.
it's
אבל
Okay.
היום נשמה יתרה, לא?
Yeah, neshama yetera, not goof yetera. You don't have an extra body. You have an extra neshama, an extra soul. You don't have an extra body. It's the same body.
So you can eat?
You
have
can,
to do a
but
diet
you're
on
gonna
Shabbat.
get fat. You overeat,
never
you're
heard
gonna
that.
get fat.
Okay.
You don't, the person doesn't
Yeah,
get
they-
fat from
they
eating
eat like-
exactly what he needs
You have
to
to
eat.
eat 4 meals.
Exactly. That's
No,
why if
so
you
that's
eat
it.
too
You
much
eat that.
each
Even
meal,
if you eat
you
the
cannot
whole
do the
meal,
4
You're
meals.
still gonna get weight.
Exactly, bingo. If you eat too much in each meal,
I can't.
you won't be able to do the 4
Sometimes I
meals
need
that you have to.
anything.
Yeah?
You don't need anything.
Okay. And when you
You
will
don't need
eat,
anything.
and when you will eat and be sated, take heed lest your heart be turned astray and you turn and serve other gods. And Yeshurun became fat and he kicked. Okay, like we said. Okay, you gotta be careful. Food is good. You should taste it. You should taste good food. On the holidays, it says you should eat good food, right? You should taste these things, right? There's a mitzvah of oneg Shabbat. On Shabbat, you should have good tasting food. Okay, it's a mitzvah. It's actually fixing the upper worlds. It's doing a lot of tikkunim, if anybody knows about that stuff. So pleasures on Shabbat is good. Pleasures on Yom Tov, on the holidays, is good. Not that it's good just for you to enjoy. You're actually fixing the worlds. You're actually drawing down light, and more of God is being revealed in the world. It's actually good. Rosh Chodesh. Today is Rosh Chodesh, right? You do these things on these days. Okay, you do this on these days.
גם לחם לברך.
When you do this on these days, you are doing good. When you do it at other times and you do it out of proportion, that's bad. Okay? Because it'll lead you to other things. You think it's bad. People don't understand. There's a good in Sefer Tanya. Chabad, is into a book called the Tanya, and in the Sefer Tanya he explains that when you overeat, what you're doing is that you're bringing the Yetzer Hara into your bloodstream. Okay? When you eat more than you have to, you're causing yourself to not be able to serve God because your Yetzer Hara is becoming stronger. Your evil inclination is becoming stronger through the food. And it could be totally kosher. It could be totally kosher. It could be totally perfect food, clean, everything. You overate, okay? You're causing the Yetzer Hara to come into your body because what happens to the food? It gets digested, becomes your blood. Your blood becomes your skin, your bones, your muscles, your hair. It becomes part of you. So now you're adding extra. So your soul it becomes heavy because of the body weighing it down. So too much of a good thing is not good, right?
You can take like a little bit pita, like a turn, כמו שאמרת, 54, for the Rosh Chodesh, just to do ברכת המזון. You okay?
It says Tomei Chaim Zachu. If you taste it, you're gonna
בדיוק.
enjoy
לא
life.
שתי פיתות,
If you start swallowing it, you're not gonna enjoy life, right? It's too much. It's overeating. Okay. One who wishes to escape the trap of all these loves requires great wisdom and courage, lest he be entrapped in their corruption. Okay. So if you want to stay away from all these loves, you got to be smart, or else they're gonna grab you. They're gonna pull you down. Either one or the other. For all these loves encircle a man's heart, and if he manages to expel one or two of them from his midst, the others will still drive him from light to darkness, right? If he says, okay, my parents, I'm going to leave them aside, the kids aside, boy, you can't stay away from food, okay? Or he can't stay away from money, or he can't, right? He has to, all these things be in the proper balance. Okay, money is used to attain certain things, right? Food is used to attain energy, right? People are used for resources, right? To do commandments. That's all, right? But when you make these things the purpose of life, you don't know what the purpose of life is. So you make these things the whole goal in life. My family is the goal in life. Amassing wealth is the goal in life. Eating and enjoying the whole world, hedonistic pleasures is the goal of life. I just there's a good video of a book called A Brave New World. In A Brave New World, he says in the future, it was written like in early 1950s. In the future, governments won't need to control people. They won't need to control them by force. What they're going to do is going to throw all the pleasures in the world after them. The people will be so drugged from the pleasures of the world, they won't be able to fight back. Okay? So the governments of the world control people through the pleasures. Okay? The people need more drugs, the opioid addiction, right? They need more entertainment, Hollywood and all this stuff. A person can't go 5 minutes without being distracted. So they have phones, right? The phones give you a dopamine hit. Okay? People are in love with the pleasures of the world. It's become a hedonistic lifestyle, just enjoying everything. So when a person's like this, he's trapped. He can't fight back. And when he can't fight back, he can be controlled.
But if you know you're attracted and you want to change, where do you start?
Well, it starts with your wisdom, with your head. Because remember the channels, right? The channels start with the head, right? The skull, the right brain, the left brain. So the brain controls the rest of the body. Your brain controls, how you think, how you feel, how you move, everything like that. So when your brain is strengthened in God and spiritual pursuits, then you don't worry about the other things. But when your brain is left to the currents, it feels what's around it. If you're in China, you're worried about like the virus right now. And if you're in Hollywood, you're worried about what your friends think about you. And if you're everywhere in the world, you're going to be.
In Sheriel, you don't think.
What's that?
In Sheriel, you don't think.
In Sheriel, there's nothing, right? No. So wherever you are, you're going to be affected by your environment. So you can't let the environment dictate your feeling. You have to be strong. And the strength of a person is in their mind. Their mind controls their heart, and their heart controls their feelings. Otherwise, the feelings and the mood will take them, where everybody else is around them. And that creates a big balagan, right? Eventually, I don't know if I'll talk about this, but eventually it leads to people fighting. What do people fight over? Resources. Hey, you took my land, right? They did a measurement. There's enough land on the globe that everybody can have an acre to themselves. Every person in the world can have an acre, and there will still be plenty of land left over. Yet people fight wars over land. They fight over women. Right, men fight over women.
It's enough women.
People fight over money. People fight over, right? Women fight for men. Right? So what's going on? What's going on is people, they have a limited capacity. All they think about is limited things all day long. And when they think about that with no end goal in mind, so they ruin what is. Okay? Therefore, one must be taught how to circumspect and expeditious in the management of all these loves, to know through them the ways of the Blessed One, as it is written, in all your ways know him. Meaning like this, everything you use it to know him. You eat, so you make a bracha, right? You make a bracha. People don't understand what a bracha is. I'm gonna teach it now, so you guys get it firm. A bracha is us stating, testifying where the source of this food came from. Baruch means blessed, but it also means source. Atam means you. So you are the source, okay? We say God's name, but God, Adon, is master of all, was, is, and will be. So you are the source of everything, master of everything, was, always, and will be. Elokeinu, our God. But our God really means our power, because as a person acts, that's how God acts to him. Okay, so you're our power. Melech HaOlam, the king of the universe. And you say, Shakol niya b'dvaro, everything was created with his words. And then you drink some water, you eat some meat, you eat some cheese, anything that doesn't grow from the ground or grow from the tree. Right? And if it grows from the tree, you say, Borei pri ha'etz, one who creates fruit of the tree. Borei pri ha'adama, one who creates the fruit of... What are you doing? You're testifying to who created this thing. Right? So you're taking the thing to bring you closer to God. Right? You're not taking the thing to stop your hunger. Because who made you hungry? Who made you hungry? And if a person realizes, he knows that hunger comes in waves. You'll feel hungry, You wait a few minutes, it'll go away. Right? It'll go
Maybe
away for a
for
few
you.
hours, it goes away. 15 minutes, you hold it off for 15 minutes, it goes away. It comes back in an hour. Right? It's waves of hunger. Same thing. It's waves. It's waves of people. It's waves of people wanting material things. Right? Just ride out the wave. There's a wave of anger. You want to like burst out and go very angry at someone. Wait a few minutes, the anger will go away. Just wait. Be patient. Be patient. The people we live in a world that's very impatient. We have everything just like that, a snap of fingertips, right?
Yeah.
We go on Amazon, we order something. We go on YouTube, we watch a video. You know, we have everything at the touch of our fingertips.
Yeah.
We've become very, very impatient. We have no patience for people anymore, right? You know, just, okay, get to it. You don't want to hear the story. I'm very impatient. Just tell me what you want to tell me already. I don't need to hear the whole story, okay? Get to the point. We become like that, okay? But when you become like that, then you're suspect to all the impulses, everything that drives you. You see food, you can't stop yourself from the food. You have to jump and get it. Sometimes people jump so fast they forget to say a bracha, they forget to bless. Because they're so eager to get that food, to feel that sensor that it makes them feel good, to get that dopamine hit, to get the chemicals rushing. They run to it. Some people do that with money. Some people do that with, relationships with people. Shut up. They yell at them, right? Because they want to feel that in that moment, that thing, right? So a person has to know that there's a purpose to life. Life isn't about satisfying your impulses. It's not a brave new world, right? The purpose of life, there's another book called Amusing Ourselves to Death. Okay? We amuse ourselves so much that we don't live life anymore. You go from one thing to the next. You can't go to the bathroom without your phone with you and you're watching a video, right? Guilty, right?
Yeah.
Okay? You can't, right? You go from one thing to the next. You go from your car with the phone in your hand, you're watching a video. You get out of the car, you watch the video. You're talking to your friend. If you can't talk to your friend, you call this person, you call that person. You have no time for yourself to be alone, to be with God, to be with yourself. Nobody wants to be with themselves anymore, right? We become.
ערוץ 2000 זה דבר רק מוסר, הכי טוב. לא חברים ולא כלום.
Right, but no, that's the same thing. You're not alone anymore. You're with somebody giving you some information.
נכון.
It's good information. You're eating good, right? But you need time to introspect and to think for yourself, to be with God
Yeah, I
alone.
do.
שבת, אתה הולך לבית כנסת חצי שעה.
Shabbat is good if you're by yourself. But if you're with your spouse, you start talking to your spouse. You're with your kids.
And you're thinking about the whole world. אין לך לא טלפון, לא כלום.
Well, that's good. That's the way it's supposed to be. Okay, but think about it. 6 days versus 1. Who's gonna win? Right? That's true. That 1 is very powerful. It's
No,
true.
that's okay.
But it's still 6 days versus 1. And it's very dangerous. Okay?
התבודדות.
Why it's so dangerous?
Yes, that's where the Chassidut and the Breslev thought comes to do. It's called Itbodedut. Itbodedut is to isolate oneself with God alone, preferably in a place of nature, like the woods. Okay, because a person is more connected to it. The actual trees, the grasses, they help him connect, and to be with God alone. And what really is happening is just like what Freud discovered, that when a person speaks what's in their heart without judgment of another person, eventually, we don't realize, but we're 95% are subconscious and only 5% are conscious. But we relate so much to our consciousness. We relate, you're a mother, you're a sister, you're a teacher, right? You play a role, but that's not who you are. Okay? That's how you interact with the world. We relate so much to that, but that's not who we are. We're really 95%. So when you speak out that 95%, you get out who you really are. All your troubles, they go away. Okay? You start seeing and understanding life much better. Okay? That's what it is. So you can either go and pay a psychiatrist and sit on the couch and talk to them, or you can go out in the woods and talk to God and have that.
So what, psychiatrists don't help?
What's that? No, what really helps a person is to get out what's inside. You can do it in front of me. If you don't, not me personally, I'm saying you can do it in front of any other person in the world. You could do it by yourself in your room. You could do it in the woods. You could do it in a baseball field. You could do it anywhere in the world. You could do it in your car. Okay, it could be anywhere in the world, but it's you speaking what's in your heart
so hard.
to someone that's not judging you.
אבל זה קשה, לפעמים זה קשה להוציא את זה.
It's very hard.
Why?
Why?
Because you've identified so much with your consciousness, with who you are in life, that who you really are is blocked. You've blocked yourself.
From what? I don't get it.
You
I guess.
blocked the role you play in this world, blocked yourself from who you really are.
אז איך משנים את זה?
How do you know who you
Okay.
are?
You are a soul. You're a divine soul. But you have your piece, right? You're who you are. You're in your name, how you grew up, right? Your individuality. Okay? That individuality, nobody else knows. Not your husband, not your kids, right? To your husband, you're a wife. To your kids, you're a mom. To your siblings, you're a sister, right? To the people at work, you might be a teacher, you might be, right? To everybody in the community, you play a different role no matter where you are. But we've become so identified with the role that we play that we've distanced ourselves from who we really are. You're a soul. You're a godly piece of, entity that's in this world that's going through it. And if you identify so much with your role in life, I'm a doctor. They have it the worst, right? People who identify with their profession so much. I'm a baseball player. You're not that. You play that. It's a role you get to play in this world. Okay, everybody has a role, but that's not who you really are. And if you listen to these athletes, when Kobe Bryant's speech, people they saw a different side to these athletes. There's a human side, right? But even deeper than the human side, there's like a soul side, who they really are deep down. Problem is, society has disconnected us from our soul. It's made us so identify with our body and the role that we play in this world that a person is psychologically messed up.
Does it have to do with the Yetzer Hara
Exactly.
leading or subconscious? Or,
Exactly.
Yeah?
It's the Yetzer Hara, it's the evil inclination that makes you identify with this body. To identify with the physical world around you more than your soul and who you really are. Okay.
Yeah, how you teach us how to do?
Well, that's what Rabbi Nachman Breslov, he made, let's say, popular. It was always known. This is what the prophets did. This is what the great tzaddikim
Right.
throughout the generations did. They secluded themselves with God and they spoke to them. They spoke to God in their own words. No prayers, no prayer book. They just told him what's in their heart. Like a little kid speaking to God, like a little
It
kid.
takes sometimes 10 minutes, an hour, 5 minutes. I'm just asking.
Depends on the blockage.
Why you don't talk to God?
Why?
It depends on the blockage, right?
Not
It's like,
everybody talk to God, no.
right? It's like a
I don't
plumbing
talk to God, I
system.
pray.
Yeah. See?
What do you
Oh
mean?
my God! I
Say
talk
no.
to him all day long.
Okay.
Well,
so
that's
you,
good.
You have
You're
no
good.
blockage.
You have less blockage. You have less blockage. Some people have nothing.
What do you
They-
mean? I don't get it. I'm always talking to.
Well, then you're closer to your subconscious. Some people are very distant from their subconscious. A lot of problems
Stupid.
they manifest in the world because of your wrong identification. Identify with your body. So let's say your body hurts, your hand hurts, or
Yeah.
your head hurts, or
Yeah,
something.
tell him.
Something bad happened to your physical
Yes.
surroundings, but the problem is in your subconscious. It's not in the physical surroundings.
In my subconscious.
Huh?
In my subconscious.
Everybody's problems originate in their subconscious. It's
So-
not in their consciousness.
How can you get over it?
What we just said, you got to speak to God.
בתת מודע.
אז זה קרה לי מהתת מודע.
לא, התת מודע שלנו, אנחנו חסומות. חסומות ואנחנו לא אומרים, זה קשה לדבר. קשה לי לבקש גם.
Exactly. So it's a lot of blockage. So you should
do it?
start.
I
Yeah.
don't feel like it, no.
I'm surprised.
So a person should start if you can't like just open up
Yeah.
and talk. So you should start the way prayer starts. How is prayer built? All prayer, even the Shemona Esrei, the Amidah, and the Jewish prayer, all prayer is built on this. First, you praise God. Okay, talk about His wonderness and
Yeah.
his how big He is, how wonderful He is, and all that stuff. You praise Him. then you ask for what you want, what you need in life, and then thank him for what you have. Okay, so that's going to be
That's nice.
easy because it's subject to what you can talk about, right? It's subjects. So first praise him, then ask for what you need, and then say thank you for what you got. Okay,
Nice.
so that'll get you started. Okay, but when you're going through it, you'll start feeling what's really deep down inside.
But don't you feel like when we talk to God, if you don't get, okay, I talk to him like, but it's like I don't get any answers, or sometimes you just want a sign or something,
No, you
So what
see.
does it mean? Is it just, what is
the,
it?
the answer is you discovering the answer.
What
It's
if we
not-
can't
no,
figure it out?
no.
It's-
I believe in, no.
Sometimes
Tell me.
we can't figure it out.
So the
But if we're
answer.
asking him,
So you didn't really talk enough.
Oh, trust me.
Okay, the answer will come to you. Now, if you're honest, if you're open,
no.
if you pour your heart out,
Fine, מה
right?
קרה לי.
yeah, if you pour your heart out, the
Yeah.
answer will come to you.
You're absolutely right.
Because God is always talking to you, right? His light is always shining on us. We're just not always looking and receiving it.
Yeah, but also sometimes you're not always gonna get the answer to your, to what you
It
want.
depends on the blockage.
is it maybe because you only talk to him when you need him?
Exactly. Okay, that's the blockage. The longer you go, the more you're blocked.
So we should always talk to him. But like here, if we need
But-
him, you
but-
said
but-
praise him, something you need, and then you thank.
Yes.
But I should,
You
there's
have
a
to manage
blockage
what I
right
say.
away.
Huh?
Because I ask him for something, I need him. But I should talk to him even if I don't need him.
Well, you'll see when you're talking to him and you're praising him, it'll be hard to stop praising him. You do this and you do that, and look how wonderful the sky is, and look at this, and oh my goodness, of what you did, and this is unbelievable, it's amazing, this miracle and that miracle, and all the people in the world, and you'll keep going.
Can you bring some cry to
Okay.
it too?
What?
Can you cry?
Yeah, you're supposed to let go of everything in your heart.
You know, start.
Okay. You're not supposed to be like angry. You're supposed to
No,
talk
no.
like what's in your heart. Your heart is this, your heart is that, this is what you felt, this is what you thought. And you can talk to him about anything. Okay?
אבל הרבה זמן, עוד קצת.
As much as
Whatever you
want.
feel.
As much as you want.
Whatever you feel. You feel
איפה ברוך השם שהוא נותן לי
Yeah.
הכל, אז אני אומר תודה, ואני מבקשת משהו קטן.
you can talk for 2 minutes, you can talk for 5 minutes, okay?
We can
But
go to the woods together.
the more you talk, no, you can't do it together. No, it's
I'm
not.
scared to go by myself.
You can't go together. You can go to the woods with another person or a scary place like that
In
with
your
another person,
garden, no?
but no person should hear what you're
Oh,
saying.
no.
Okay?
What do you
Remember,
want in the woods? It's better to go in the woods.
in
Yes.
the woods there's more energies that it's easier for you to because it's all nature, like it's God-made things. It's not like man-made encasements. Like in this room we're encased. Okay? In your house you're encased. It's man-made stuff. In New York,
backyard?
stay away from New York. Guys, stay away from New York. New York is bad. There's no God in
זה נכון.
okay?
Why there's
God
no
forbid.
fire?
God forbid. God is everywhere. But there's so much man-made things over there,
אותו דבר.
okay, that it's very easy to not see God. Very easy. Okay?
They have more than we do.
What's that?
They have more in New York than we do.
No, meaning no, you're not understanding.
Like here,
I
what
understand.
do we have? If
We're
God
not
is
talking
really,
about
what
that.
don't we have any like? I don't know. I don't feel anything in here. It's weird.
Okay, so yes, there's certain places in the world
It's
gonna feel
empty soul like that place.
certain places in the
true.
world you're gonna feel more godly than others, right? Is God? I have a question for you guys. Is God more in this room than he is in the bathroom?
Yes.
No.
No, we draw more attention to him here than over there, but he's
Right.
everywhere.
Right,
He's in
he's
the
everywhere.
bathroom too?
He's the Ein Sof. Ein Sof means without borders. If he's without borders, he's everywhere. Is he more in this room than he is in Jerusalem?
No.
No, the Ein Sof is the Ein Sof.
The problem I know what
Okay.
she's talking about. A
Now
lot
wait.
of people not.
Hang on a
giving
second.
the-
Hang on a second. Yes, hang on a second. Since he's everywhere, so why do we have holy places? Why is Israel holier than the rest of the world?
'Cause Israel is-
Why is Jerusalem holier than the rest of Israel? Why is the temple holier than Jerusalem? Right? Why is inside the temple holier than outside the temple? Okay, because there's levels. In these levels, a person's supposed to feel, if he's connected, is going to feel that
Yes.
closeness more in these places. Okay, more in this room than in the bathroom. Okay, more in Israel than in outside of Israel. Okay, the more certain places you'll go, and it's not just those places. There's certain places throughout the whole world. Some places, it says that the water of the place has an effect on the people,
Oh yeah.
and also the air has an effect on the people. So some places the water and the air will make them angry. Some places will make them jealous. Some places will make them run after women, run after money. Every place in the world has a different effect on the person. So you may feel certain things in different locales. Okay? But I'm just saying, in general, when you're surrounded with man-made things, it's harder to connect to God. Because you're worried about getting the man-made things. You know? In New York, they're worried about success and, you know, doing the right, you know, getting as much as they can and getting ahead and all this time. What you have, what you don't have, status, you're wearing this, you're wearing that, to get that, you get that. Right. That's America. That's the world. But there, it's hyper
When
focused.
people live in New York and they're coming from this place, they find themselves that it's very confusing for them. They don't want to live there. They feel like it's
Yeah.
too much for them.
Yeah.
They prefer to be like, you know,
Yeah.
I know, זה בדיוק מה
100%.
שהילד שלי אומר לי. אותו דבר.
And when you're like, let's say in California and Hollywood, you're more free, you're more this, you're thinking about like fame. And like, what's my image? What's not my image? Every place is
In
different.
Vegas.
When you're in Vegas, you
The
think
money.
about all the hedonistic
Making the
pleasures in the world, right? And gambling and women and that, right? You're thinking about those things, okay? Because the environment has an effect. That's why you should be around holy people, holy friends, holy objects,
Really
right? Good
holy,
things.
not people that look holy.
Yeah, right? People will actually do it for real, right? And that's going to have an effect on you. So it's better to go, we were talking about, it's better to go in the woods, in nature, as opposed to around man-made things. You'll feel it. You'll just feel like a different connection. You know, it says if a person wants to attain an extra level of emunah, he should look up at the sky. Just looking up at the sky brings into a person's, subconscious and their consciousness an extra level of belief in God. Okay, so just walking around looking up the sky, people may look at you weird. Okay, but
There's
take
no one in the streets.
no in the streets in Cherry
כשאתה
Hill,
הולך
right?
לדוגמה לקבר של הרבי לאוהל,
Yeah.
אני מרגישה קונקטד, אני מרגישה שכאילו ניצחה רוחניות.
Yeah. Some people go to grave sites of holy people, righteous people. Yeah.
And when my birthday, it's like everybody, like all my kids, all of a sudden they felt like so happy.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Absolutely,
In
right?
2 hours.
So that's what's going on, is you're connecting, okay, to what you're supposed to connect. Okay? And
My little one didn't
that-
want to come. He went inside and he read a few days, chapter in Tehillim. He came outside, all of a sudden he smiled. All of a sudden, it's something
Exactly.
I never
Because
saw.
what happens? What's the source of all our suffering? Is the body in the physical world. What's the source of all our pleasure? It's the spiritual, the soul in the spiritual world. Okay? If you think about it, when you taste something good, is your body experiencing it or is it your soul experiencing it?
The body, because the soul doesn't need any food.
Let me ask you a question. If we take the soul out of the body and we put food in the person's mouth, is it going to taste it?
No.
So who's experiencing the good taste?
So
הנשמה.
Exactly.
בטח.
Okay? When a person's with, their partner and they're having a sexual relation, who's experiencing it?
נשמה.
The body or the soul? Right, it's the neshama, right? It's the soul. But we think we identify with the body because that's where the feeling is. But who's feeling? It's you, right? When you watch a sad movie,
you cry.
right? Who's crying?
Your soul.
I mean, you're literally
soul
dripping
cries.
tears, but it's your soul that's crying, right? Or you watch a comedy, who's laughing? Did somebody come and tickle you? Right? It's your soul that's laughing, right?
But didn't we say for the food that, earlier, what did you say? That the more we eat, the more we're feeding the body and it becomes like material.
Yes.
Like we're more So
You have to be able to
So the question is, who are you identifying with? Okay? It's a lot of work, but are you identifying with your body or are you identifying with your soul?
So obviously, if you're more connected to
Yes,
identifying with your
yes,
soul
yes.
and vice versa.
If you're really, really attuned, this is very important. When you're hungry and you make a bracha on the food and you really, really like have proper intentions and you're not just waiting to shove the food in your mouth, as soon as you put it in your mouth, your stomach already be full. It won't even go down there. It won't even hit the stomach. It won't register yet. You just put it in the mouth. You'll feel like
How you doing?
a calmness over
צריך
yourself.
לעשות את הברכה בעדינות ולא באים...
All the
גונבים את
righteous
האוכל
people
הזה.
should be models then.
Well, you know.
No, it's עבודת עצמית, it's work.
Yeah, it's work.
Constant
It's work.
work every day.
It's work.
It's
But
not easy to no one and to stand up. He's
And-
starving and he wants to eat so fast, and then he make the bracha and he
and
it's a work
if,
every day.
if you do it like this, you'll sensitize yourself so that everything will taste good. Water will taste good. You know, you don't need soda, right? The seeds will taste good. Cucumbers will taste good. Healthy food will actually taste good. Being with your partner will actually feel good. You don't need to have crazy thoughts in your head or do crazy, you know, things that shops sell in order to have. Okay, I'm sorry to get a little bit graphic, but you don't need that stuff because when you tap into what's going on at that very moment, it's amazing, it's fun, it's enjoyable. It's just we've taken ourselves out of it, and because of that, we need all sorts of crazy things to make it enjoyable. We need to pump our food with fats and oils and sugars and all that stuff to taste good.
It is good.
Right? We need our partners to wear certain things and talk certain things and look a certain way and all that stuff. It's just too much. It's crazy. You know?
Is that true that when you're getting older, the food is not feeling the same like you were younger? Like your taste bud is different?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. The sensors just they start the fluids in the body start drying up, and things don't taste the same.
It's amazing. Yeah, that's what all my family, they're losing weight when they're getting older. It's fascinating.
Yeah. Okay. So just to wrap it up a little bit is what we said today is that a person should be careful of the love of this world. That the love of this world doesn't drive them away from God. And really it drives them away from who they are as a subconscious entity. And the subconscious is really their soul. And they need to identify more with their subconscious as opposed to with the consciousness. And the way to do this is to talk to God freely. Okay, and when you talk to God freely, you start identifying with the soul. When you start identifying with the soul, you can enjoy life, let's say 100 times more than what you're doing it right now. Okay, and that's really, you know, it's a tool because again, you're supposed to use this world to get to the next world. Okay, use the physical, use the spiritual, use the books, use everything to get to the next world. Because the goal in the next world is much more than this world. It says a pleasure of one moment there is worth all the pleasures in this world. So if we took a person's life from the moment they're born and the moment they die, and we take all the pleasures, everything they ate, everything they saw, everything they experienced, and we put it into 1 minute, a very good minute, right? Throw away all the pain, just put the pleasures in that 1 minute. A minute in the next world is worth 1,000,000 times more than that one good minute. Okay, and that's what we're working towards. Okay, so hopefully God will give us a good month, right? Rosh Chodesh Adar, and we'll be able to attain this and move towards goodliness.